This will be the last one before I'm sure members of the panel want to...
Sorry, I don't, not wishing to hog it in the tables, probably is hogged up. But we are going to get some infrastructure built, despite it might not be what everybody wants, but it will happen. But how do we make sure that we don't make the same mistakes and see that that infrastructure spend goes overseas instead of being spent in this country with manufacturers in this country? Have we got a situation where finance is more important than actual production of items? I'm thinking about, obviously, the trades that have gone to Siemens in a particular instance.
Okay, we've got about 30 seconds each if you want to...
If I can help John not answer that question, it's perfectly feasible under European law to allow regional, local issues to be a factor in decision-making on issuing contracts. What you can't do is make discriminatory awards based on which member state it is. But you can allow other factors into the equation, and I think you raise an interesting question. Perhaps we should do more of it, because as people happily observe, that's what happens in other European countries. It's perfectly fair. This isn't the other European nations cheat or something, which is the sort of Daily Mail view, dare I say, of this. They're not. They're just using the law and working within the law in a way that we could do if we wanted to.
Could I maybe just add that I think that's beginning to happen. I had a meeting yesterday with the Scottish Government Minister. They are looking at the procurement legislation to, not that you can't do that now, to make it more overt, that taking into account the holistic economic impact of a procurement is absolutely the right thing to do. I might say that we employ over 5,000 people in Yorks and Humber. We care out the place, we employ people. But I think that's a really important point, and I would be disappointed if government and the LEP here weren't looking at that going forward.
And I might just add, on the back of the recent experience, of course, we all have in mind, my Secretary of State has said that we shall formally look at the extent to which we operate the kind of legal framework, European legal framework, in different ways from other European countries. So I think you're pushing it at a bit of an open door.
Okay. I think to summarise, in terms of today, we shouldn't forget that our LEP is actually the biggest and probably economically one of the strongest in the country, and that was recognised by the government. And I think some of the comments you've made or the questions have focused on the importance of connectivity between the cities in the north. You know, I'm very supportive of high-speed rail too. It can't come soon enough. But I don't think we should take our eye off the ball in terms of connecting our big cities so that we can perform stronger. And I think certainly the Leeds City Region Transport Panel, which I chair, has done some excellent work. And I think that needs to come out more in the public domain so that we can get that momentum. The second thing I heard John say earlier, which is, I think, a recognised fact, is the traditional days where councils or others, authorities, went to government to lobby with a begging bowl is now truly over. Yeah. And I think we've got to think of imaginative ways of raising the money. You've probably heard, it has been around in the West Yorkshire, about an attempt by West Yorkshire authorities, all West Yorkshire authorities, of trying to raise some additional money. And I think that is probably the model that we need to work on in order to transform the mindset from having going to government, which I've done on a regular basis over 20 years for a transport system in Leeds, and failing, and now saying to government, actually we've got the money, we need a little bit more from you, and we can connect the cities up and improve our economic performance. I think that's the debate. And if there's anything that comes out of today, I hope that, one, that we generate support from that, from wherever you are, whichever body you represent. I hope that all of us in this room can get behind that debate. And secondly, that we can actually start to maintain transport as one of the biggest issues facing the LEP over the next few years. I'd like to thank our members of the panel, who I think have been excellent today, and I hope they've stimulated your mind and ideas about the future, for their contribution today. I wonder if we could show our appreciation for their... Thanks very much for coming along. And as we know, we've got to conclude at 9, which is not far off. And thank you for your attendance and interest in today's breakfast seminar.